Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome back to episode 5 of our Rysel Roubaix Career Mode on Pro Cycling Manager 2025. In today's episode, we are back on the French 1.1 circuit for 3 one-day races, then finishing off with a 7-stage Tour of Brittany, which is mostly sprint stages, but there are a few punchy stages in the mix. So it should be quite a fun race with our team. First things first, I wanted to start today's episode by checking in with our finances and seeing if we were any closer to getting out the hole we dug last episode. But looking at this projection, we are still projected to go broke mid-August, so we do really need to start getting some more wins on the board really rapidly. And jumping into our first race, the Prix Besançon, we pretty much brought our A-team here to this race, so we're expecting a good result from this one. Having a look at the parcours, it's a punchy day with a proper climb to finish, and looking at that start sheet, there are some really top talents here as well, including Nicolas Prudhomme, who seems to not be able to stop winning at the moment. But we're going to give it our best shot. We're hoping Guillaume will have a good day today and he'll be able to carry us up that climb. And once again, enjoying the stunning new graphics of PCM 25. And you know what? It's a 0 day, but we'll take it because he's managed to get +2 on all his climbing stats, which is pretty phenomenal. Capron also with 76 medium mountain and 77 hill. We could be quite competitive today. Unfortunately, Jarnet's not feeling very well, and the rest of our team are having pretty average days, but you know, we'll give it our best shot. We'll protect both Capron and Guillaume for now, and we'll see who's in the best position when we reach the climbs later on in the stage. First up, we've just got to be a little bit careful we don't get dropped during breakaway formation or expend too much energy. There's a fairly notable climb coming up soon, 3 kilometers, 5%, so we do need to be a bit careful there. But we've got a relatively good climbing team, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, and now we're over that first climb. It looks like the breakaway for the day is set. 12 riders with around a 2-minute lead, and the peloton's chilled out on just control pace, with understandably Decathlon taking the lead on controlling today. Now it's just a game of staying safe and avoiding any incident. If you're enjoying the video, please do get yourself subscribed because I'm back in a big way and I'm committing to recording 2 episodes a week for you all. Now my crazy busy summer's finally over. Right, we've got a narrow steep climb coming up, so we are going to just up the pace ever so slightly and make sure we don't lose position here. This could potentially be a moment for splits. As you can already see, 57 riders are out the back of the peloton. They are really pushing the tempo up here. We really do not want to get dropped at this stage. But we seem to be holding our position relatively nice, and the climb is starting to level off now, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem as one of the FDJ riders goes on the attack. Now the positioning battle's over, we'll knock the pace off and let Decathlon chase that rider in. And yeah, there definitely are some riders who are done with the day, with only 35 riders now in the peloton after that split. It looks like now we've got a long plateau before a proper descent into the final climb, which starts off crazy steep. So we need to make sure we're coming into that descent in perfect position so we don't get caught behind any splits on the climb. Okay, it's still pretty spicy up here. Fiat is starting to struggle, so we might have to commit another rider to the chase. I think it's about time for Moran to get involved. And yeah, that's Fiat done for. He can relax for the rest of the day. It looks like things have calmed down though, and we're about to bring the breakaway back in. So you know what, let's not have Moran on the front. It does look like though, both Capron and Guillaume are having a great day, especially as yellow energy is not going to be as important for this climb with it being so short. So we'll make sure they're both protected and come into the final climb in a great position. Now that the breakaway's caught, there might be some attacks, so we're going to make sure our riders are right on the front of the peloton here. And look how narrow and twisty the roads are here. It's really important to hold positioning, especially with riders like Capron, whose descending really isn't the best. And FDJ are on the move again with other riders following. We need to make sure we follow this. Let's not get dropped or caught behind a split here. And we're hitting the descent now, so let's get into a lead out. Juliard can lead us down the descent with Jarnet in his wheel. Actually, Jarnet's got a way better descent stat. Jarnet can take the lead on the descent and hopefully bring us into this climb right at the front of the peloton. The climb in question today is only 5 kilometers long with an average of 7.3%. But look at that maximum of 14% in places. So this is going to be a really difficult climb. So Jarnet is going to go 99 even at the bottom of this descent to make sure we hit this climb in the perfect position here. And then we'll have Juliard protecting Capron with Guillaume in his wheel. And yeah, let's hope they perform well today. I think we could have an incredible day here. And it looks like Capron is having the better day. So Guillaume, you're on domestique duties today. Decathlon, they're looking a bit scary on our wheels. And the first attacks come from Jordan Jagat, followed by Nicolas Prudhomme. We're going to try and follow here with Capron. It looks like Guillaume does not have it today. We're going to use the energy gel there on Capron. And we are actually climbing really well here. Just keep pacing 89. We'll go up to 90 under the Flamme Rouge here. And actually, Guillaume has held our wheel. What a day he's having. And we're going to launch with 500 meters to go. Let's see what we've got. And I don't think it's going to be good enough for a win. But it looks like we're going to cross the line in 7th place with Capron, only losing to some pretty talented riders. Awesome ride by the Frenchman. And Guillaume sneaks in the top 10. Whilst it might not be the result we were hoping for, 2 riders in the top 10 is still a respectable result within this competition. And you know what? We can't be too disappointed by that. But we need to get some wins this episode, so on to the next race. We've now got even more climbing coming up with the Tour of the Jura. We're bringing a very similar team today, and it looks like there's some pretty similar opposition. Who's running Zip 202s in 2025? Seriously? We've got to go for the 353s instead. Yeah, the dailies aren't looking great today. With Guillaume's 0 day though, still paying him well in his mountain, medium mountain and hill stats. So I think he's our leader today. Unfortunately, Capron doesn't have his God tier +2 day today, but you know what? We are going to still protect him. Juliard can protect Capron there. And Morant's having a good day. He could be a pretty good flat domestique for early on in the stage. He can sit in Guillaume's wheel, and Jarnett, you can protect Guillaume since you're on a -3. Let's get our riders up to the front and nice and safe. Today's stage is a proper medium mountain festival with back-to-back medium mountain climbs, finishing with a fairly long climb that's a bit of a fake news climb. On the profile, it's only claiming it's 4K at 8.3%, but if you actually look in more detail, it's climbing for at least 4 or 5K before that even starts, albeit a fairly shallow gradient. So, you know, that is a proper serious climb and one we're going to have to really manage our energy on. The pace is really hot here. We need to make sure we don't get dropped at this stage. Our riders are even struggling in the high 70s. After this climb's finished on the plateau, we're going to make sure we move up and stay in position for the rest of the stage now. With some of our riders even getting caught behind a bit of a split here. This is really not good. Yeah, unfortunately, that looks like Capron is out the back for the day. Even if he does get back in now, he's going to have used a lot of energy to get back to the peloton. We'll see if he's got anything left to give though. I think he's definitely going to be in Guillaume's service today. And let's make sure we use this descent to move Guillaume up as close to the front as we can. And it looks like, as well, we're about to catch the breakaway, so maybe the pace will settle down a bit as soon as that happens. We're just hitting the foot of the penultimate climb. Let's see how hot the pace is up here. And it looks like there's a few attacks going with Paul Sexas going on the move. This could be a dangerous one. We're going to start pacing on 85 to make sure we don't get held behind. But it looks like that move's gone nowhere. But people are clearly nervous in the peloton now. Capron is almost dead here. He can just do what he can, protecting Guillaume now. And Moran, it looks like, is going to be our final domestique as we crest the penultimate climb and start the descent to the final climb. With it being a proper drafting climb to start with, I doubt any early attacks are going to succeed. You can tell how hard a race it's been though, with only 41 riders left in the peloton. If we can get another top 10, I think that's going to be a really solid result given the opposition. We're just going to do our own pace now. It's a long old 10 kilometres to the finish, and we don't have the greatest yellow bar in the world. We can't be sustaining sprinting this early in the climb. We'll stay in the peloton and use what energy we've got left on the steep ramps towards the top. Okay, and we're nearly at the top of the shallow section now. We've got a very, very brief descent, and then it's the 8% ramp to the finish, but it's still 4 kilometres at that 8%, so we've got to be careful with our energy management. And just as we say that, that is Capron done for the day. Moran can take over and give what he can to keep us in the race. I don't even know if we can sustain 80 to the line here. We're going to have to be really careful. There's no chance we're keeping up with that pace off the front. But actually, it is now only 2 kilometres to go, so we're going to crank it up to 87 now. And now Guillaume is on his own. Let's see what a result we can get. And actually, I've been far too conservative with our energy management here. We could have gone far harder. Let's see if there's any world we can sneak a top 10 though. It looks like Decathlon have absolutely dominated the day with a 1-2 on the stage. Oh, can we do it? And yes, we sneak in with a top 10. Back-to-back top 10s, which, again, considering it's Decathlon lighting up the race, not a bad performance considering we're just a Conti team. As I said before, a top 10 against some of this competition is pretty strong. We at least have the bragging rights of being the best Conti riders today. There's no chance we're keeping up with riders with stats like Paul Sexas and Nicolas Prodhomme though. They are in a different league to us right now. Okay, it's time for our final French 1.1 before we go to the Tour of Brittany, which is far more on our level. It's a medium mountain race again, but this time there isn't an uphill finish, so maybe we'll stand more of a chance in a reduced bunch sprint. Okay, and taking a look at the day, the race days are really not doing us any favours today. Guillaume with the -3 on the day. I think it might be a Jarnett day with his all-rounder stats and his +1 day. As always, let's make sure our guys stay in a nice safe position during breakaway formation and don't get caught out behind a silly split early in the stage. And with 110k to go, we've got quite a sustained step climb now before a bit of a hill zone where there's going to be likely some attacks on that really steep black gradient climb and a descent to the finish. And also, we can't be ignorant of the breakaway who've got 7 minutes on the peloton right now. Oh dear, there's been a bit of a split in the peloton with only 43 riders left. And you know what? I'm going to get Theot pacing on the front. That'll do us some favours if that sticks. It does look like it's going to come back together though, so maybe it's all in vain. With 46 kilometres to go, we're entering the final hill zone. Let's make sure we get both Jarnet and Capron through it nice and safely. Yeah, it's going fast now. We're struggling on 85. Let's use this slight lull in the pace as an opportunity to move up and make sure we're well positioned for the rest of the race. And unfortunately, it looks like Guillaume does not have very much left to give either. It's going to be just Jarnet and Capron to the line. Hopefully we'll recover a little bit in the descent here before that really steep climb coming up. It's only short at 1.7 kilometres, but an average gradient of 10% and a max of 12.6. That's going to be a leg snapper. I think we need to hit it in a good position. But fortunately, it looks like the road is rather wide here. However, there are a lot of attacks going and this one could be dangerous. Loads of the decathlon guys are in this one. Let's make sure we try and survive. Capron, you can protect Jarnet. And it's staying together for now. Hopefully that'll keep going. And coming over the top of the climb, we're going to sit right up as soon as we can. And hopefully no one counters over the top. 21 riders left. And it looks like we've survived that climb. One more to go. But look how low our energy is here. Capron can use his gel and give what he can to protect us up this final climb. I'm expecting some really nasty attacks here. When 95 isn't enough pacing, that is scary stuff. And I think this might be where we fade. Jarnet is on the last little glimmers of his energy, running on fumes here. And there's the top. Oh, we're going to crack so close. What a shame. And it looks like also Clement Berthet has also cracked at the same moment as us. Maybe they sit up in front and we could sneak back in, but I think that's our race over, unfortunately. Can our 71 downhill maybe sneak us back into the group? Even if we do, I don't think we've got any more energy to survive till the finish, unfortunately. Yeah, and they're sprinting up front. I think it's over for us. But look at the riders up the road. They are all fading. Everyone is absolutely cooked today. What a hard stage it's been. And right at the front, Kevin Genietz looks like he's solo into the win with a 30-second gap on the rest of the field. Let's see where we finish. Can we get another top 10? It's going to be close on the line, but it looks like we have just done it again. Snuck into the top 10 for the third race in a row. Whilst top 10s aren't really something to be excited for, these are quite a high level of race compared to what we've been doing in the past. So, you know what, nothing to turn your nose up at. Right, and to finish the episode, we've got 7 stages of the Tour of Brittany to ride. This is a race a bit more on our own level. It's only a 2.2, so we should have a real chance at some stage wins. And I'm going to make sure we get one. We've got Tebellion and Moran heading up the sprint squad, along with Guillaume, who'll hopefully take the lead on the hilly stages. So hopefully we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And actually, the paper agrees. We're 4th and 6th favourite for the stage today. Hopefully we can make that number 1. Stage 1 looks like a nailed-on sprint, but I see 4 KOM points midway through the stage. I think we're going to try and take them. Look at that +2 day for Tebellion. If we can, I'm going to try and throw Theot into the breakaway. Tebellion, you can just set a steady tempo on the front just to make sure the break doesn't go too early. And there we go, Theot launching across into the breakaway. But it looks like Hector Alvarez is not happy with that breakaway. We're going to launch again and let's see if we can make it. Surely they don't have a problem with us getting in the break. But again, Trek absolutely drilling it to keep this break in check. It seems like Trek only want 1 or 2 riders in the break. Okay, that break's going nowhere. We'll try with Tebellion instead. And he's got a gap with one of the Quickstep Dev Team riders. Actually, we are going to wait up for him and work with him and see if we can get a gap. But yeah, Trek don't seem too happy with us. Okay, and we've got the intermediate sprint with ease there. I'll take 3 bonus seconds. But looking at our energy, it was definitely not for free. And I think that might be our day over here. We'll take 1 KOM point. Somehow we managed to get the 6 points on that climb despite having no energy left. Let's take it really slow now and just see if we can grab the other 2 before dropping back to the peloton. Well, looks like we're going to be in the... Well, at least it looks like we'll be in the KOM jersey tonight. 1 final climb to go. Let's give it our all and see if we can hold on. Yes, we do. Right, let's wait up on the peloton. And hopefully Tebellion isn't too cooked to be able to manage a sprint later. As there isn't a break coming into this next intermediate sprint, we're going to see if we can sneak any bonus seconds with Guillaume. We have got some competition, but we might be able to sneak a second or 2. And yes, we do take the 2 seconds across the line there. Let's sit up and wait for the peloton. Interestingly, the guys we're on the wheel of are still pacing it. We're definitely not doing any work in this one though. And now it's all back together, let's get our train set up for the finish. We don't have a very deep team here, so it's going to be quite a limited lead out. Avioni can do positioning duties into about 5k to go. And Juilliard's having an awful day, just keeps getting himself dropped. With 6k to go, Avioni's done a great job of keeping us in position, but now we're going to start ramping it up for the sprint. You can start pushing on 95, Theot in the wheel. Theot can take over on 99. Avioni out the way. Okay, we're sprinting with Theot now. And now it's time for Moran to do the lead out. Come on. And Tabellion launching with 1k to go. Let's see if we can do this. Come on, guys. Oh, and Sirius is coming back strong. But Tabellion holds on to take the win there. With Guion, who I left on his wheel, actually sneaking a third place there, which will be great for his bonus seconds. We held off the Russian unit, Gleb Syriza, to take that stage win. What a result by Tabellion, considering he was in the breakaway earlier. Look at them results. First, third, and fourth on the stage. Importantly, taking bonus seconds with Guion, which will come into play later in the race. 2.2s are definitely more on our team's level compared to them French 1.1 races. And we're currently leading every single classification except for the Young Riders jersey. Stage 2 also looks like a sprint stage, but it's a slightly punchier affair with constant rolling climbs on that finish circuit. Hopefully, with his +2 day, Tabellion will be able to repeat yesterday's success. We're just going to sit in the peloton today. Avioni's doing marshalling duties on the front, just pacing 65 to keep that breakaway in check. There are only 3 riders in it though, so I'm not too worried about it for now. And unfortunately, Moran and Guion are having terrible days. So Guion's going to get nursed round, and Moran will just be on lead-out duties for Tabellion today. Given his fitness and this race not having many major mountains, Tabellion might actually be our best GC option. Look at our team there, riding to defend that GC lead. There's 1 KOM point left on offer. I'm just going to see if I can sneak it with Tabellion here. It might be a little greedy going for 3 jerseys at once, but you know, we're in a money pit and the sponsors aren't paying us for not trying. I hadn't even noticed we got onto the 3rd cat climb. For some reason, that tiny little speed bump is a 3rd cat. Unfortunately, we didn't take any points there. And coming up this 4th cat climb, we'll make sure to take the KOM points with Tabellion here, keeping us tied for the lead of the classification. And Theot can go back to trying to bring this breakaway in. Unfortunately, they've got quite a big lead after sprinting for that KOM. I'm not sure we'll have them back before the intermediate sprint here. Especially with it not being especially with it being rather rolling. Anyway, a little bit too late, but that's the breakaway court. We're just going to ride on 75 with Theot and hopefully use these climbs to tire out sprinters like Syriza so Tabellion can take the stage win. With 15k to go, Juilliard's going to move up to 80 and we're really going to start pushing on the pressure along with Trek. Looks like it is another downhill sprint, so we want to be launching over the top of the climb. Let's make sure we remember that one. And there's some attacks going in the bunch. We need to be careful of these. Juilliard now up to 99, approaching that final climb. This is where it's really going to matter. Now it's time for Guion to take over. Come on, boys. 3k to go. Guion is absolutely drilling it here. He's got us right to the front. Looks like we're about to lap the rest of our team as well. And now we're on the plateau. Moran's going to launch really, really early here. But we know there's a descent coming up. And now Tabellion takes over. Come on, guys. Let's get this win. Launching super early there for Tabellion. But we knew the parkour better than anyone else. And we took a huge win with a 5-second gap to 2nd place. Let's see if we get given that one on GC. This could be a great day for Tabellion's GC and actually secure him as GC leader over Guion. Avioni and Theot rolling in across the line, well down on the peloton, but they've had a nice day out. Unfortunately, we didn't get given any time gaps, but we did take the full 10 bonus seconds, so we do have a 10-second lead over Syriza on GC. And Guion, unfortunately, does drop down to 4th place, but still a great showing from the boys. Stage 3 is another sprint. Let's see if we can make it 3 from 3. But our race days aren't so hot today with Tabellion on a -1. However, his sprint stat isn't affected too badly, so hopefully he'll survive for this sprint. Guion, though, finally having a better day. We definitely don't have the form to be messing around in the breakaway today. We're just going to play it safe and go for the sprint. And with 25 kilometres to go, that's the end of the breakaway's fun for today. Let's start assembling our sprint train. Tabellion's energy, though, is really not looking too great. It might be a Moran day. We will prioritise Tabellion, though, to get them bonus seconds in GC, but we might have to make a last-minute switch, depending on how the stage plays out. And with 3.5k to go, it's now Guion's turn to use his 75 flat stat and guide us in nicely. And with 1.6k to go, Moran's going to launch us into this descent. And final kilometre, there goes Tabellion. Let's see if we've got it today. It's looking a bit closer. I don't think we've got it today. Gleb Syriza takes the win with Moran coming 2nd. Tabellion might have launched a bit late there, finishing with a fair bit of energy. And again, because the stage was classed as a flat stage, there haven't been any gaps given on GC. So our main guys have all finished on the same time, despite Guion actually being put on a bit of a gap. Taking a look at GC, unfortunately that means Tabellion is out of the GC lead in favour of Gleb Syriza, but I reckon stage 4 is going to be our opportunity to put Syriza out of the GC for good. At the start of stage 4, fortunately our daily forms are looking a lot better today. Tabellion had a 0 day, but with a lot of +1s in his attributes. Moran on a +1, Guion on a +1, hopefully we can be really dangerous today. The finish is 3 reps of a fairly steady climb, which has been designated a third cat, and a descent finish. So again, it's going to be one to launch early. None of our riders particularly have good descending stats though, so we do need to be careful of that one. 40k to go now, and we're approaching the finish circuit. We need to start thinking about our positioning and strategy. I think the plan is going to be Guillon's our attacking option, with Tabellion going for the sprint from the peloton behind. So the climb is a bit stepped, with 2 steeper sections and then 2 flatter sections. So we need to make sure when we're attacking on the steep bit. Right, okay, Juilliard, it's your turn to pull us into this descent. Tabellion survived that one, absolutely no problems. Okay, and it looks like Trek want to play here as well. Juilliard's going to make it hard here, and on the second ramp, we're going to launch Guillon. Getting ready, and go Guillon. Attack. Let's see if we can get a bit of separation here. We've launched really hard there. Now we're going to just pace 99 to the top and see what we've got. Everyone else can sit up. Tabellion, you need to make sure you don't lose position. Let's follow the moves. Guillon does have a small gap of only about 10 seconds though. Let's see if we can make the difference. And it looks like Soderquist is going to join us. Let's work together and hopefully we can keep this gap. But it looks like the rest of the peloton have no interest in letting us go. So yeah, we'll settle with Guillon and assemble a bit of a train for Tabellion with Avioni starting us out. The pace is really hot here. We're just trying to deter any attacks. Right, Avioni's done. Juilliard's turn. We might be going too hard too early here. Let's just see. Moran's about to take over just to get us over the top of this climb, and there are attacks in the peloton. Moran, you need to follow this. Actually, Guillon's going to launch. Come on, Guillon. Okay, and it's just Soderquist with a little bit of a gap to Guillon, but we're still there with Moran and Tabellion. However, our energy is not looking great here. Guillon's going to try everything he can to bring Soderquist in, but it is still 4k to the finish. And it looks like Syriza is helping out with the pacing himself. And with 2k to go, Moran's going to take over and actually start the sprint. Come on, let's go. Everyone can sprint. We are going downhill here. Tabellion and Moran are going to launch, but it looks like Soderquist has run away with this one. And unfortunately, I need to stop with Moran here. See if Tabellion can take any bonus seconds. And unfortunately, yeah, Moran steals Tabellion's bonus seconds there, and Syriza takes the +6. So not a great stage for our GC hopes. Soderquist, the Swedish talent, has stolen that win with a 14-second gap on us. I should have made sure Tabellion got them bonus seconds rather than Moran, but oh well. Taking a look at GC, Soderquist does jump us on GC, with Tabellion now down to 3rd place, but only 6 seconds in it. I think we can pull this back over the next 3 stages. Looking at the other classifications, Tabellion has snuck back into the KOM lead. We are in 2nd and 3rd on the points classification. Having a look at the remaining stages then, we've got a hard, punchy stage for stage 5, stage 6, more of a sprint stage, and then stage 7, again, quite flat. But unfortunately, you're going to all have to wait till next episode for that. So make sure you get yourself subscribed so you don't miss it. And I promise this time, it'll only be a few days. So I will see you all in the next one.